Friends, greetings, salutations. I hope everyone's well. You're probably in a really good mood right now, aren't you? I bet you're in a really good mood right now. Let's talk about the stock market. Let's talk about some stocks. What's going on, friends? Hello, how you doing? Thank you for being here. Listen to me talk about the stock market. If you're wondering why it looks like I got slapped in the head with a 2x4, I did not. I got a little burnt today in the garden, so didn't wear the big hat. I'm paying for it. Here we go. So today, if you know, towards the end of the day here, Trump came out and said essentially, hey, these tariffs, we've done really well so far. We're making $2 billion a day, but we're talking to a lot of countries. Things are moving well, but we're gonna do a 90-day halt for the tariffs. And there's pockets of white, black, gray, yellow, everything mixed in there with what they're doing here. And then, China, but essentially what happened with that, the stock market just shot up dramatically. I mean, trillions of dollars shoved back in the market today. I mean, like, your portfolio went from like bleh to like, okay, we're doing better. Still a lot of people I'm sure are under, but if you were buying last week or Monday, Tuesday, this is why I said yesterday, the market's going to be very volatile. It could switch like that, and sure enough it did. And I say that because, listen, I've already been through a Trump market. Like, I think some of us, we've already seen a Trump market. So I said this a month ago. You can get me on this, because what do we know with Trump? Trump says things from day to day. Literally, you're watching one dude in control of the whole world right now, the markets, okay? He is controlling all the markets by what this one dude says we're going to do, okay? And it's fascinating to watch here because, tomorrow Trump could come out and say something else. Who knows what he's going to say? So I know a lot of people took profit. I sold out some things. There were some positions that I was like, okay, we're going to take some profit on that and we'll jump back in later. So with this 90-day freeze, if that's what is really going to take place here, that's going to leave 90 days of some fun. Maybe that's what's going on right now. And if we can work out a deal with China, it's going to get even better. Now, the situation right now that we saw today, gold, everything, everything just immediately, just did well today. The biggest issue right now, obviously, is us in China. And Trump has, put another big tariff on them, and they're still saying, hey, we're not paying, but Trump says, hey, we're talking, we're trying to work out a deal and see what's going to happen here. If that's how it's going to happen, time will tell. But if we work out a deal with China, that is really going to, really do something even more. Like, imagine if, I don't think this is going to happen, but imagine if tomorrow it gets released where the administration comes out and says, hey, we actually worked out a deal with China. It's the best deal in the history of us as two countries working together. What do you think the stock market would do? The stock market undoubtedly would shoot back up to almost levels that we were at 30, 40 days ago. I guarantee, look at what it did just today with just like that. I mean, it's insane. So no one saw this really coming, but it's a good place to be because people made a ton of money today that were buying into this market, buying low positions. So look at Nvidia. Nvidia went from 93, yesterday it fell before market open. It was almost 89 bucks. And then today it jumped up to right under 115. It's still doing very well after hours here. And then you have Robinhood. Robinhood was a $30 stock here just hours ago, and now it's a $42 stock. Oh my god. So friends, listen, this is probably going to be how things are going to go here for a while. It's going to be a very volatile up and down market with that 90-day halt that we know about right now. I would like to say the next 90 days here in the market are going to be, the next 3 months are going to be just, a fairy tale story, and the market's going to run. But I do suspect there will be moments of okay. This tariff thing is not over by a long shot. It's just not over. So this is just a moment where you're going to have to build positions for long term, take profit when you take profit, build on top of positions, sell buy, sell, buy. That's probably going to be a lot of how you're really going to make a great portfolio here. As of right now, until we, in this situation that we find ourselves in with this market, that is a give and take, give and take, give and take. And the market is literally just moving off of news right now. That is all it's moving off of. It's moving off one dude talking and what he's saying, what's going to happen here. In May will be going into, towards the end of April, going into May here, we are going to be going into earnings season with a lot of our big tech stocks, just big companies in general. So yeah, it's a good day. It's a good day because, things aren't going down more, and, it seems to be people are happy, and we like people to be happy in the market. Okay. So SoFi, this is why I was preaching so hard on SoFi the past 2 weeks. This is why I know you guys were sick of me talking about SoFi, but like when SoFi was at almost $8 here, $9, $10, I was preaching to people. I was like, listen, I'm telling you, if this market, something happens here and it turns around, the stock is going to shoot up dramatically. Okay. Now, we're not even back at $12 yet with SoFi. We're not even there. Okay. But I know a lot of people kept buying SoFi, these past few days in the market. Last week and the last 2 days here, at $9, $10, even low $11, maybe now. But if we can keep this, momentum going here in April into May, guess what's going on in May? May, like I said, is bringing a lot of earnings. SoFi will be in that. SoFi will be releasing their Q1s. SoFi could potentially be making the biggest quarterly they've ever made, which will be $1 billion quarterly. If that happens, that will undoubtedly shoot SoFi into a very, very high range here. Now that obviously depends on where the market's at. Okay, we need market balance. We need market, stability, essentially. Okay, we're finding that. Investors are happy. They feel more comfortable with what's going on. I don't think we're out of this yet. There could be more devastation coming on later in the year, but there is this thing of saying, like, you're building positions in things right now where, people are buying SoFi now. They're building up a nice position. Earnings is coming, and you're saying, okay, SoFi more than likely will run up to maybe $14 to $15 here the week before earnings here. Earnings comes out, it's really good. Maybe SoFi runs some more. Maybe we get some high teens here, depending where the market's at. Okay, it's hard to tell. That no one can. I don't want to lie to people. No one knows here. I really don't want to put a price tag on it, but I think SoFi could do well here. Obviously, if we can get some market support. Okay, and then May 5th, May 6th. We know quarterlies are great. SoFi's, yeah, everyone's happy. I think a lot of people would take profit, obviously. Okay, I think that's going to be what's going to happen here. SoFi will probably, sell off a little bit. Maybe there's more turmoil in the market very soon here. And then, with that, it's not me saying that SoFi is a bad company. It's not me saying that SoFi is going to, go back down because it's a bad company. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that SoFi hopefully will find a new bottom. It's going to see a new high here, hopefully. But also, too, the new sell-off in SoFi could be $11, $12, okay? If we can see SoFi get into some higher earnings here, there's a strong possibility, there's a strong conversation there to where, SoFi can maybe be in the high teens, at the high levels. We see a big earnings here. And then the sell-off, with a bad market again, with tariff news coming back up later on here a few months or sooner, maybe the new low, instead of $9, it'll be $11, $12. You see what I'm saying here? So, you even buying SoFi at $11 right now, 25 days from now, or sooner, you could be in a lot of profit range, okay? Now, obviously, this heavily depends on where the market's going to be, okay? But like I said, I usually, if you know me, I don't usually talk about swing trading on here. I do it. And if there was ever a time to do it, it is in this market. I'm gonna tell you that 100%. I've been talking about this little, hit bits here and there about swing trading, short trading, but I know a lot of you are doing it, and it is very easy to do in this market right now. And that's what I'm saying. If you've been through a Trump market, you know that Trump, as he talks, the market moves. He could come out tomorrow and say, hey, you know what? The tariffs, we're still there's still some that I'm not excited about. We're gonna push some more on them, and the market may go like, what do you say? And it could sell off a little more. Okay, we don't know. We don't know. And I don't say that to say like a slide against Trump whatsoever. I'm just saying, I think if you've been through a Trump market before and you've been going through this market with Trump, you just pretty much know how his rhythm and, his how he works, okay? And as an investor, that's so important, okay? As an investor, we have to follow the breadcrumbs. And there's a lot of breadcrumbs with what he says and what he doesn't say and says the day after or next week, okay? So this is a very volatile market, but where there's a volatile market, there's a great place to build positions. There's a great place to sell in and out of stocks and build on top of, take the profit, throw it back into a position, sell the profit, throw it back into the position. Listen, when the market finally gets stabilized and all this tariff stuff's like wrapped up and done, the market will stabilize and the market will run. And then we won't get these huge sell-off days and these huge pull-up days. Think how much money people made here since Monday, Tuesday, and just a couple hours ago into this market. I mean, imagine people, that we were buying positions here in stocks just the past 48 hours, and now they're like, oh, okay. I mean, even like, the market essentially went back up to like last week's levels where we had that one really good day. It's a wild ride in this market right now, 100%. But SoFi long term, man, I am drinking the juice on SoFi 100%. SoFi is such an amazing company, and I think this is going to be the biggest year. And these Q1s are going to be a strong indication of what is coming this year. That SoFi is going to be fierce competition in the banking world here this year, 100%. And then you look at Palantir. Palantir. If we see this market continue here, Palantir more than likely will shoot well up over $100 here. And it's really a conversation of what is the market going to bring to us tomorrow. What are we going to see in this market tomorrow? It's a real possibility that we might see 100, might see more than 100. We know people are willing to pay that in Palantir, 100%. I was buying Palantir Monday and Tuesday when it went to $60 here for a moment. I bought it, and now look, if you did, you're in profit zone. You're in some really nice profit zone. I mean, crazy profit zone just in that little time span. So Palantir, obviously, much like the conversation, the rhetoric of what I said here with SoFi, where it bleeds right into Palantir. Palantir has quarterlies coming up here May 5th, and and same day essentially, and they will more than likely have this $1 billion quarterly that they will hit, if not very, very close. And this is why Palantir as a stock is so alive right now, because investors know we know what's coming here. We know that Palantir is about to release their quarterlies. We know the FOMO, the hype train is coming here. And listen, I'm okay with hype. I'm okay with all that, because guess what? It brings money. It brings a lot of money. Okay. 100%. If there's a stock that can change your portfolio financially, long term and short term, it is Palantir 100%. I mean, the gains. Look at the freaking gains in this stock here. The up and down turbulence that we've been dealing with here 2 weeks now. I mean, just insane gains. So with that, Palantir, man. If they release this new quarterly here, this Q1 that's coming out, and they do another 30, 35, 40, 45% on top of their last quarterly, and we do get that big B, that $1 billion quarterly, oh my God, dude. It's obvious that the rest of the year is going to be, it's going to be very well going here too. And what do we know? What's the comfort in Palantir right now? What's the comfort that should make you feel good? the comfort, whether you like it or not, is that Palantir's in the White House. Palantir's rubbing shoulders with the Trump administration. Palantir has great contracts with our defense, the government, and they have a lot of other, contracts. I mean, it's not just the government that's funding them. Those are, solid good ones that are there. But what I'm trying to say is that, there could be a lot more coming here with Palantir. Okay. It's obvious that we are definitely not calming down when it comes to defense. Stuff around the world, there's always going to be a need for defense, for all this kind of stuff. It's not calming down whatsoever. So Palantir has plenty of money that's going to be coming in. We could even see this year where contracts, maybe new contracts come up, extended in contracts, who knows? So I think Palantir, short trading it, long term holding it, trying to build. Like I said, I think this market right now is so great for building positions. Sell high, buy low. Sell high, buy low. This isn't right now until this market stabilizes out. I would not be afraid of this market like losing it. I don't think the market's going to run away from you right now. That's essentially what I'm trying to say. The market's not going to go to like, this isn't the market of a month and a half ago where I was like, oh my God, like the market, you can't keep up with it right now. It's just going. We don't have that market back yet. Okay. Now, are we going to get that market back this year? I don't know. I don't know. It's, the tariff situation is a real situation. Even if we do work out a deal with China here in the short term here very soon, there's still a lot of other countries we're finalizing and wrapping up things with. And, there could always be a situation where a country says like, hey, actually this tariff thing, it's not working for us. So I think this is going to be a lot of the taste and smells of this whole year with the stock market and tariffs. It's just going to be like up and down, up and down. Inflation's still not great. And, rate cuts, how many? Are we still just getting 2? Are we getting 1? When are we getting them? Are we getting an organic one, or are we going to get an emergency one? Organic one would be better. So there's still a lot of that conversation out there. And, too, there's a lingering thing in the background I just want to keep you aware of, is that obviously job reports for last month came out good, a little too good. That's fine. But there always is a reversion of that too, and that I think that comes out like a week or two. I'm sure someone will nicely tell me in the comments. I appreciate it. But that too could be in the market. But these are situations where this is, you get what I'm saying here. Rhythm and flows here with what's going on with this market. You need to see what's happening here with this market. The market's not going to run away from you. So don't worry about like, I can't catch the market, I should have bought in. Don't get yourself in too high positions right now. Make sure you're staying in some profit zones right here, to where you're able to build positions. And then Big Bear, our sweet Big Bear. I admit it. I'm obsessed with Big Bear. I'm obsessed with Big Bear. It has my attention fully. I admit it, dude. I admit it. Okay. There's people here that we're family with Big Bear. We believe in Big Bear, that something could happen this year. And then there's people here that are infuriated when I talk about Big Bear. And I get it. Big Bear has problems. The debt. What's going on? They need more money. I get it, man. I've talked about all this numerous times. Don't mess around with Big Bear right now if you don't have money to waste. I cannot stress that enough. Q1s are coming up here with Big Bear, okay? And this sounds mean, and I get it, and I don't want to hurt Big Bear's feelings or anybody else's feelings, but the only reason people that are here for Big Bear believe in something that could happen this year with them, it's 100% because of the government contracts, defense contracts. I don't think there's anything wrong with saying that. Let's just state the obvious. That's what it is, okay? That's okay. It's encouraging for them, to us, that they're doing this. And it leaves the question, are they going to get more? It's very possible. It's very early in the year to count this situation out. It's very early to count this out, that they're not going to get any more, or that they're not just going to get some other deal. And obviously, Kevin, of course I'm going to say this, because if I don't, somebody's going to nicely tell me in the comments again. Kevin, the CEO Kevin, talking about when he released that tweet here just some time ago when he was in DC talking about global trade, Big Bear could help out. Obviously, I don't know if he was leaving breadcrumbs. I don't know if that was like an Alex Cart moment where he was like, I can't outright say that we are in talks with something like this, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to get anybody's hopes up about that. I don't want to put out false information like that. But we can dream. We can hope that something like that would happen, because that would be probably the biggest deal that this company has ever seen. It would solidify them reaching $190 million in revenue this year, and dragging themselves out of debt. It would be great. And it would obviously throw the market cap up, the stock price up, everything. It would be great. Now obviously with that, Q1s are coming up here. I'm going to be totally honest with you. I don't want to lie to people. Obviously, I always want to bring a double-edged sword here, but I don't know if they're going to hit these quarterlies. Okay, I don't know. And really, my main focus for Big Bear this year is that obviously I want them to hit a quarterly. I want them to at least just 1% over hit the quarterly, do well enough. It still won't make a lot of people happy, but it would be a win for the little guy out here. Now, Q1 coming up, I don't know. Q2, there's more possibility because of these later deals that have come in here to compound on newer deals 4 months ago, and then maybe what else we don't know about at this point deal-wise. So there is a possibility where these Q1s could be pretty good. I expect them to be at least better than the last quarterly that they missed, which we knew they were going to. It wasn't like a shock. I even told people, I was like, listen, I don't want Big Bear to be mad at me, but I know they're going to miss these quarterlies. There's no way they're going to make them. They didn't. So as we know right now, Big Bear is still on track to make around this 160 to 170 million. They're obviously at this point going to do somewhere in that range. Okay. Now, obviously the big thing we want to see here is that they at least, it would be nice if they made it to 180 million. Anything over that would be fantastic. And, when we're talking about 180 million, we're talking about 200 million. Obviously, this is not a lot of money in the grand scheme of a lot of tech stocks. I mean, some tech stocks are getting, $1 billion contracts, $500 million contracts, $1 billion contracts. I mean, they're getting crazy contracts for short time frames too. Palantir for one. So Big Bear still being the little guy out here. It's the government contracts. It's the obviously attention on Big Bear. Investors are still very hungry for it. They're still watching it like a hawk, 100%. I mean, there's a reason why this stock is trying to sustain this $3 position. If we can see the market straight out here, I absolutely 100% believe that Big Bear organically will sit around a 115 to 160 on a good day. And from there on, if we see the market kind of straight out here, see what happens, Big Bear will find a way back into $4, obviously. Because people are going to keep buying it, they're going to keep trading it, and it will just gradually grow here. There's too much it's too much of a wild card. It's too much of a scratch off ticket at this point to just count Big Bear out. And I know there's some people that are gonna say yes. There's some people that's gonna infuriate. I get it, man. But like I've said, I can't stress enough how, yeah, they've got debt. They've got problems. There's issues here. I get it. I've been talking about this since November, December, whenever they got that first big, almost $200 million contract with the government. I know. But it's a wild card, because imagine if this week, next month, Big Bear releases some news. Hey, we just got another government contract with X amount of money. Maybe it's just something, maybe they get another government contract for $50 million spread out over 3.5 years. that right there would solidify them hitting at least 180 to 190, and that would change the quarterlies the rest of the year. That would change everything. It would guarantee the stock price moving up into a high $3 range to low $4 range. It would drive hype back up. It would be great. So that's why investors are so obsessed with Big Bear right now, and that's why people are not letting it go. And if you're short trading this, day trading this, my God, the amount of money people are making off this stock right now. It's a lively little stock. So congratulations on people that are doing that. Friends, I'm going to shut up. I'm sure my forehead is blinding you. I probably should go rub some lotion on it. I don't know. I wish everyone best of luck. I really do mean that. So friends, take care. I'll talk to you soon. Bye, everyone.